Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and I'm so glad to see you here today. I'm going to be continuing to play the game Donkey Kong Country, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we should see the end of the game today. It's been a lot of fun, and we've been making some good progress. I've encountered some challenges, but that's to be expected in a great platformer like this. I've already defeated 5 bosses. We're halfway through the Chimp Canyons segment, I believe. It looks like the end is in sight. We're making great progress, recovering that banana horde, and I'm going to just give up my all to continue that today. So come along and let's see if we can see the conclusion of Donkey Kong Country. It's hard not to want to comment on this opening every time. It's just such a great opening. So here it is, Donkey Kong Country. Kind of weird, wild to look at things here and see 50%. I mean, that percentage number accounts for all the different bonus areas and collectibles that can be found throughout, so I'm definitely not going for that 100% completion. My goal is to beat the game. I've never actually finished Donkey Kong Country before, but today is going to be the day. I'm going to do it. It's been so much fun thus far, whatever you want to say. It's been a great time so far. It has definitely had its difficulty in spots, but it's always been good difficulty. I don't ever feel like the game has been unfair to me. Every challenge has had a clear solution. I just have to be able to execute. That's not the game being unfair. That's just me needing to figure it out. And I like that. That's how a game should be. So since we're starting in again, this is how the game works. We've got our 5 lives, and experience has kind of shown me that 5 lives is good, but more lives is better. So within reason, I'm going to just, kind of like we've done the last couple days, grab a few more back here from Jungle Hijinks. I'm sure there are other better places I could do this, but I'm used to this. This has been working, so why mess with what's working, right? And I know technically I could just farm a bunch of lives here and really make it that much easier, but I want some level of difficulty. It's very much been that balancing act of watching my lives and actually taking those couple game overs the other day. I wasn't exactly proud to have them, but it was nice to have those stakes involved in things. If I had 99 lives here, it'd be pretty easy to just run with 99 lives and you're like, oh yeah, I can lose 4 or 5, 6, 7 times. It won't really matter, but we've only got 10 guys. Those 7 guys go by pretty quick then. Not really sure what golden animal I needed or was going for here, but I got the frog, so you'd think I'd have remembered what was in this bonus area. That was so fun. Let's do it again. That's another life there. And if I do this a 3rd time, that'll get me that ostrich bonus stage, which is going to be great for my lives as well. And that should give me a nice little bit of a buffer to start with. I don't want to spend a bunch of time here, but putting those few minutes in here is better than a bunch of game overs later, I'm thinking and hoping. Hopefully you'll agree. That's 10 guys already right there. We'll head back in one more time. And hopefully that'll see us through for a little while. There's not a whole lot of level left, I believe. But we've seen before that it doesn't take a lot for me to end up needing some extra guys, so. Here's something that was kind of fun to have talked about yesterday. It was, these trees in the background here. It was mentioned that they have a face on them, and I'd never really thought about that before, but as we talked with each other yesterday and said, it's kind of hard not to unsee these faces now. And I'm not opposed to that. I like discoveries like that, but seeing like the little bit of shading on the leaves there in certain spots, especially the ones in the background, they've kind of got that head peering at you kind of look. I'm sure that was intentional in some capacity, but maybe not. Who really knows? The developers, I guess, the artists, the people behind it. But as iconic as this game is how many times as I played these levels, that never really stuck out to me. So to see that, it was just kind of like, wow, those hidden in plain sight things. It's been here this whole time, and how am I just now seeing it? Ah, so close. 396. I think that's my personal best. I was really looking for that 4. I do like how easy they make this initial level to stock up on some guys. I mean, I'm very much thinking that was an intentional choice. 16 guys without a huge amount of time invested there, that feels pretty good. 16 guys could vanish just like that. Hopefully they don't, but they could. But this feels like a good starting point. It's also, like I said the last 2 days, nice to step into a level and kind of just refamiliarize myself with the controls. It's a very tight controlling game in the first place already, so it's not like I need to relearn anything, but just kind of get that muscle memory going again, and rather than jumping directly into a hard level. But let's go directly to a hard level now. Off to Funky's flights. Whoa, dudes, my name's Funky Kong. My bodacious jumbo barrel can launch you to any point on the island. Most fortunately, I can only send you a place you've already been to. It is a complete and total bummer, let me tell you. Yes, we started in Congo Jungle. We made it through Monkey Mines, up to Vine Valley, all the way to the peaks of Gorilla Glacier, through the smog and industrial waste of Kremkrock Industries Incorporated, and now we're into the Chimp Caverns. We can see that nice banana horde down there. I think that might actually be Cranky's place off the little bridge there in the middle as well. But yeah, down below us here, of course, is Candy's. We're making good progress. We've got Loopy Lights coming up next. Okay, so far so good. Let's just kind of experiment here and see what happens when the lights go out. Does the enemy's behavior change? No. Interesting, he jumps when I jump. Okay, so this is going to be a mission to keep the lights on. You might not see it on your version of the screen, but I can kind of see a banana just at the bottom of this pit, so... I'd like to think that means there's something down there. Yeah, okay. A good low-stakes test of my barrel accuracy. Oh, it gets dark when these lights go off. That's going to be tough. kind of hard for you guys as the viewer as well, so I'll do my best to keep the lights on. And of course, we're going to have pits in the middle here. Oh, there was a tire here. I was wondering if I was gonna need to have bounced off of one of those guys to see what was up there. Okay, just a gap over there. Keep the lights on, banana. Okay, challenges. There's a cliff there. And there seemed to be a cliff there where Donkey just ran off. Light helps. Ooh, the checkpoint barrel really helped. I see a DK barrel down there. Nice. Ooh. I saw him up there. All right, another cliff. Was there? Yeah, there's a light here. Let's go a little faster. Okay. Ooh, I see him. Okay. Turn the lights on. Woo. Almost felt like a bit of slowdown there. Ooh. I see the lights. Exit. Ooh. Oh, crafty. I was really glad I had a second. Nice. That was Loopy Lights done. Did I lose any lives there? I got the candy save point. I mean, this was looking good. Hello, guys. Got anything worth saving? Yes, indeed, I do. All right. Well, that's an encouraging start to the progress today. That doesn't mean platform perils. The name sounds super inviting. But we made it through one level, so let's just keep moving. Interesting bonus barrel down here. I don't see myself getting to it from here. Okay, this is going to be one of those kind of levels. Interesting. I like these kind of moving platform levels in games. It was really nice to take Cranky's advice the other day and learn about how Diddy is actually able to fight those big guys as well. I was just so convinced that those were like a Donkey Kong exclusive enemy. You had to just use him to fight. Alright, this is an interesting kind of mechanic of dodging the armadillo creatures. The kind of type platforming where you can't really stop moving either. You've got to just go. That's one. All right. I didn't necessarily need to fight them, but it's nice to not have to work around them either. All right. right, that worked out technically. Ooh, this will be a tough one. I don't really want to jump off of them because there's that little bit of knockback when I do. When there's a small platform, a little bit of knockback is a bad thing. All right, that checkpoint, though, is huge. I've already got both Kongs, so hopefully, yeah. I've missed enough letters now that N isn't going to That's a tricky spot. Uh-oh. I should have rolled off that. I know better. We talked about that. Okay, well, I made good progress there. We got to that checkpoint already. This feels doable. Oh, that's kind of cool. The breaking of the barrel actually took out the enemy there. That's one approach. Not the best approach, not the right approach, but it is a way to do things. So the attempt idea here anyway is going to be to lead with Donkey Kong. Hopefully I don't have to think about a tight roll attack and can just jump, hopefully, here. That was a lot easier. I panicked when there wasn't a path in front of me. Okay, so we ride that up and then we throw the barrel behind us to open that platform up. It's coming together, hopefully. The pieces are fitting anyway. It's just, down to that execution level. Nice to be finding enough bananas here to kind of acquire a couple extra guys here and there. And I saw the bunch of bananas down there, but there's also that part of me that feels like unnecessary risks. It's in the name. It's an unnecessary risk. Would it be nice to have more bananas? Sure, yeah, absolutely it would. But is it worth risking an entire guy for a tenth of a guy, basically? So that's one, okay. So we're going to take this barrel up, and we're going to throw it this way. And then we ride this way. And then this goes somewhere. And then this goes somewhere. No enemies hidden. An exit. Nice, nice, nice. That was really good. I loved that. I love those moving platforms were so cool. There've been a lot of those little, I don't want to call them gimmicks, but those specific design element stages, kind of like the moving track levels or the cart levels that were definitely difficult and required really precise movement, but that is so much of what a platformer is. I mean, And it just felt great. It was definitely the kind where it felt like that old game of going back and learning. It's like, okay, even talking it out as I was going through, it's like, okay, I'm going to take this barrel up and I'm going to throw it over to the left side of the screen, and we'll help you have a platform there. And it's just that going through it and doing it a few times to kind of see, and then executing. And let's hear what Cranky has to say. He's got all sorts of great advice for us. We're over 50% complete now, so that's got to make us a star in his book, right? I just gave my last barrel to that orangutan buddy of yours. 3 lives and 3 continues. That's all we had. Games never looked like this when I was a lad. And we were much better off in those days as well. Bet you thought this was 64-bit, eh, boy? I've got more gameplay in my little finger than you've got in this whole game. You know what they say, all graphics, no gameplay. I definitely would not say that about this game. In Jungle Hijinks, stick to the treetops to earn extra lives. I did see the balloons up there. I was told that if you bounce 8 consecutive baddies, you'll get an extra life. I think that did happen naturally at one point. I don't remember which level, but all this gameplay is too much for me. I like how he sneaks in bits of advice throughout his lecture to us. Well, I think we've seen everything that this area has to have. Oh, Necky's Revenge. Was that the bird that shot coconuts or rocks down at us? I think it was. I know I just saved it. I know it's not going to do anything more to go back here again, but there's just that part of my brain. It's like, well, I did something, so let's go back in here. So we've saved up. Everything's as good as it can be. Let's attempt Necky's Revenge. I think I remember learning last time he shoots and you can only hit him after he stops shooting, right? Really? Wow. Again, this is just one of those great instances of figuring things out in the past and having patterns actually follow and make sense and just go where you think they should. That could have and should have been a lot harder, but having gone through it the first time with the original boss fight back in World 2 or 3, whichever one it was, I was able to use what the game taught me before and apply it. I'm sure this was a lot faster moving, but it should be later in the game. But it was that nice, almost feels like seeing progress in myself, in that it was so much more difficult before. Not that it was very hard, but I lost a few guys in the very first, attempts trying to figure his patterns out. So to come back now and to make it through with surprising ease, I don't want to get overconfident here, but that felt good. And so, of course, I need to go tell Candy of my exploits there and, the success in that boss battle. What kind of Kong would I be if I didn't, right? Wow, you guys really came a long way. Save your game now while you have a chance. Okay. So let's fly off here. I remember bits and pieces of what's to come. I'm going to keep it kind of to myself as best I'm able. I might mention little things here and there, but the music. Get ready for some great music. I mean, I think a lot of you have heard Gangplank Galleon in the past in some context, but this game is full of amazing pieces, and this is definitely one of them. If this fight's anything like I remember, we'll probably hear the music a few times. Hopefully not to the point of tedium, but this is Gangplank Galleon. I like this music too, but I'm also trying to psych myself up for what's coming up, because this is another good point of execution. So let's go. Here we go. We're gonna recover the banana horde. There he is. King K. Rool tosses his crown at me. That's right, he runs. And I can't jump on him while he's got his crown on his head. There's actually a Game Boy version based on this game. This is Donkey Kong Country. That was Donkey Kong Land. Okay. And I remember playing that and just not figuring out why I wasn't able to jump on him. Okay. We're learning he speeds up as he runs back and forth. Does that crown come back? Okay, once, twice. Once, twice, thrice. Something's different. Jumping. Whoa. Oh, that came out fast. Okay. Well, we're making progress. The challenge is having to execute it all together. It starts over every time, so. But that's what really proves mastery. Cannons from above. Do I need to roll past those, or could I just actually run past them? I might be able to run past them, but I shouldn't run into them. I think still rolling was easier. I guess one thing here, the amount of lives I have doesn't really matter since the fight starts over every time. Okay. Kind of cool where the music seems to line up at the end of that phase as well. He jumps over to there. Didn't really have myself on the right part of the screen to see where they were coming from. Credits, coding Claptrap, characters Crusha, coloring Critter, concept Clump, Commander King K. Rool. The end? I like to read credits, but those are some interesting titles, aren't they? I wonder, what could it mean? I do not remember exactly what's going to happen here, though, so let's... Oh. So close. I don't know that I can jump over him, but going under him seems like it's going to be tough as well. Still, progress. I like progress. So far, so good. I'm starting to learn. Okay, there were no fake credits that time. Okay. Nope, that's right. So I can go under him. Oh, I think this fits the pattern, I think. Well done, Donkey, my boy. Who'd have thought a young whippersnapper like you could have beaten that bunch of no-good crumblings? You've made an old man proud. Go and look in your horde. I think you'll be in for a surprise. If I'd been playing, I'd have found everything. I don't doubt that you would, but I'm sure you must have found some bonus rooms, or there must be some bonus rooms you haven't found. There's a ton we haven't found, yes. Look at that, the banana horde is back to its glory. All right, look at that. The bad guys. Naughty. Necky. Army. Zinger. Slip up. Manky Kong. Mini Necky. The aquatic bad guys. They were some rough ones. Bite Size. Croctopus. Chomps Jr. Chomps. Makes sense. Clambo. Squidge. That feels right. The Kremlings. Critter. All the different color variants. Clump. Crash. Claptrap. Rock Croc. Crusha. The bosses. Very naughty. Master Nicky. Queen Bee. Really naughty. Dumb Drum. Master Nicky Sr. And King K. Rool. The good guys. Oh, I like how the good guys get the credits as well. Ramby. Espresso. On Guard. Winky. Squawks. The Kongs. Is it my turn yet? Funky Kong. Candy Kong. Surely it's me next. Cranky Kong. Diddy Kong. And Donkey Kong. The back and forth they have. It feels like that was one of those, like, made you look, and then he cuffs him for it. But I think they're still good pals overall. Maybe he can give it right back. You got to give it to him for that. I did this using one life. I took less than an hour. All right, here are the credits. Let's read some credits. I guess I won't force you. Let's just enjoy this. I'm so happy to make it this far. Let's pick a few names. I always like to just kind of see some names that I like. See what they did. Wonder what they're up to now. See some famous names too. Just see who you know. David Wise. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I was thinking it's Robin Beanland as well, another big shot at Rare. Might be misremembering that a little bit, but... And amazing to see a game like this with a relatively, compared, especially by today's standards, to see how few people actually worked on it, but to see what a big team this actually was for its time, and to see what they were able to accomplish. I mean, cutting edge technology... Produced by Rare, presented by Nintendo. So, that was Donkey Kong Country. I wonder if I were to load back in, if I can see my banana horde full, or if it's just going to be like a traditional game and load where the game was last saved. Let's walk in and find out. What better way to bookend the day, too, than to just stop in the banana horde and finish off this level one more time. There it is. Well, we've come all this way. Let's finish the level one more time. End it where we started it. Collect all the Kong letters, a good way to finish things here, and make it to the exit as the sun goes down. that was a lot of fun. I'm just, it's just kind of just happy right now. This has been one of those fun gaming milestones for me that I played this game a lot back in the day, like I said, and to having worked and had the fun of playing it again this week, to get to the end of the game and to say that I completed it. That's one of those, maybe to a lot of you that wasn't an accomplishment. Cool, that's fine. But for me it was. This is kind of one of those long-term chapter book sort of feels. I started this game way back as a kid, and I played a lot of it in a lot of different settings, and now I can say on my gamer resume that I have completed Donkey Kong Country. Is that a massive accomplishment? No, not really. A lot of people have done that, but now I'm one of them, so that feels good. Let's go back to the desk and talk a bit about this, because I had that bit of a mini retrospective on the game yesterday, but kind of had to stop myself. So let's do it properly today. Just talk about all the great this was. I can't think of anything but good. But I want to give it, sing the praises that it deserves. So let's head back to a more controlled environment and talk about that. But this was Donkey Kong Country, and it was amazing. Okay, so here we are. Wonderful. Fantastic. There's not enough good words to describe just how much fun that was this week. I'm very pleasantly surprised that the ending of the game, these last few levels, those last couple bosses came together as effectively as they did for me. I won't lie, and I will say that there was a part of me coming into the stream this morning that was still just kind of apprehensive about how far can I do this. I want to put on a good enough show. I don't want to beat the levels like single-handedly easily, but I also don't want to spend 35, 40 minutes making you guys watch me fall on the same cliff 12, 20 times, whatever. So I really feel good about the overall execution. Was it flawless? Absolutely not. Were there game overs? There definitely were game overs. Did I make a lot of the same mistakes over and over again? You bet I did. But at the end of the day, I was able to learn from those mistakes and overcome the very fair challenges. That's been a thing that's come up a lot in my thoughts about this game the entire way through. And I've said it as much, so it's probably, you're going to hear me say it again. You're probably saying it with me right now, but it was a very perfectly fair level design. Everything was in place for a reason. There weren't any blind jumps or just unfair enemies that showed up out of nowhere. Everything was there, and the player knows it. If you take damage somehow, that's you doing that. That's not the game being unfair. And so every time I failed, that was me learning. It wasn't even a failure either. It was just a non-victory state. It was every time too. It's that, okay, what happened there? Why did my run stop? And it's like, oh, okay, well, that enemy there, it jumps when you jump, so you need to jump earlier, sort of thing. Or that enemy can only be hit on the head by Donkey Kong, so if he's not in the lead, then you've got to have Diddy use a rolling attack instead of a jumping attack. All things that have proper solutions to them. It's not just like, well, it has to be done this one way only. It's like, no, there are multiple approaches, but you still need to execute properly. And the secrets, oh man, the secrets. I mean, we finished it, I think it said 53%. So I saw just slightly more than half the game. There's a lot of it out there. I mean, if I was really digging into the game, there'd be a lot more content, but there's no reason to say I won't come back to it at some point and try to expand on where we left off here. But my main goal this week was to just see the game to conclusion, and I am so happy to say that I did that. The music. I said that before the game even started, that I love the soundtrack, and getting to hear it all week as the game's gone on, that's been just as much fun as I was hoping it was. With stuff like the Gangplank Galleon fight against King K. Rool, I love how the music changed as the battle went on. And even losing the fights, I didn't feel bad because I got to keep hearing that music. And I just... it's such a great sign of a game when you can listen to this music and not want it to stop. There were so many old games and even so many current games where some sound gets repetitive and you just don't want to hear it anymore. But I never felt that at any point in this game. There were really big, bombastic scores in this in certain levels, but there were some really nice, quiet, almost understated environmental sounds. Like I remember that one cave. We were talking in chat, yesterday, was talking about how it wasn't even sure there was music going on, but it was just such that understated, bits of rumbling and creaking sounds that actually was music. It was just so built into the level itself that was really cool to see. So a lot of great things were done in every aspect of this game to push the graphics to where they are, to have the really well done soundtrack, the controls, the platforming. I think this really shows that 90s vibe of what the Super Nintendo was all about trying to do, That energy, that pushing the boundaries, showcasing new technology, and doing it so well. To take the franchise like Donkey Kong and evolve it into this direction and kind of see where this has become the version of Donkey Kong to continue on as the growth goes. It's no longer just that single screen platformer, and to have Cranky Kong there as the original Donkey Kong that fought against Mario, to kind of have him like pass that torch along and just say, hey, this is how things used to be. I really liked that talk about how back in my day we only had so many frames and so many colors, and even today hearing him talk about we had 3 lives and 3 continues and that was it. And that was that was how things felt back in the day. It's like once you game over it wasn't like, oh yeah, you can just go load your last save. It's like, no, you're back on the title screen. You're starting at World 1 again. If anything, this game was a lot easier by comparison because I had those things like the save points and Funky's flights. That was something else. The map design. By having those save points scattered throughout, it's like you've got that safety net to fall back on once you get there, but you still need to get there. So There is enough of a chance to save yourself if you can get to Funky's flights, to fly back to a previous area, or to get to Candy to save your game. But you still have to make that leap into action and get through it first. I mean, it might be 3 levels before you can get to either of them. And if you can't make it through those 3 levels with however many lives you've got, then you're going to get to try again. And I think that's totally fair. And the game also gives you a lot of ways to approach that. I mean, I could go back to Jungle Hijinks and farm 99 guys for a little while if I wanted to, and take a lot of that pressure off. And that's a totally fair, valid way to play. But for others that they want more of that challenge, they can just take a handful of lives or not gain any extra lives and just take the default 5 and see what they can do with that. It was kind of fun yesterday. I mean, I was literally on my last guy, and at one point I was thinking maybe I should just throw myself off this pit and come back with 5 guys, but I was kind of talking with chat, and it was just kind of when I was in the moment. It's like, hey, who knows? Maybe this could be the run. And sure enough, that was the run for that level. And I think it took me to Funky's flights, and that was just like everything turned from there. I didn't need to double back and start over. I got through with the one I needed, and just kind of that fun level of perseverance. But man, I'm still really happy to have made it through this game. I'm happy to have you guys here to watch it as well. So thank you so much for the support this whole week. It's been amazing. I like that you're having fun. I'm having fun. It's exactly what I wanted this to be. It's that win-win feeling. I guess on all those notes, I could probably keep talking for a while. I'd end up talking in circles and wasting your time. So let's just kind of just enjoy it. I mean, like I said, there's just so much good to be said about the game. I can't think of anything negative. I loved all the boss fights. I didn't even really talk about the bosses, did I? They were all basically single screen, maybe slight scrolling from side to side, but really well self-contained enemies. The game didn't tell you anything about how to fight them. You just kind of had to figure it out. The naughty enemies, you knew from the other smaller versions of them to jump on their heads. But some of them, like the dumb drum, that barrel fight, I didn't exactly know what I was supposed to do, if I was supposed to damage the enemy or not, as he was pouring enemies out of himself at us. And eventually it just kind of came to figure out that, like, okay, once I defeat the enemies he pours out, then he'll crush the ground a few times, then he'll pour more. So there was that part of me that figured, okay, maybe that's what he needs to do. I just need to keep surviving. It's not an attack him, it's a war of attrition kind of thing. And I was able to outlast him, and that defeated him. So it's cool that there were multiple different win conditions like that. And then to really culminate with King K. Rool there and have to execute everything. To me, that was how all the bosses were, technically. Every time you lost, you started over at the start, but with all the different phases with King K. Rool. And I failed on maybe not the very first phase, with it would just, no, I even lost some lives there. But to have those mistakes throughout every phase and then to have to learn from them. It really just encapsulates everything about this game condensed into one fight. And once you learn it, it's good, but you still have to be able to piece all of that learning together. I needed to complete all the different phases in sequence. It wasn't like that same level of going back and finding candy and saying, okay, I beat phase 1 of King K. Rool, let's save the game. It's like, no. You've got to do all of this all at once. And that's how a game should end. It really forces you to learn, use all the abilities you have, and once you can do that, then you've come out on top. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was great. There's a couple more games in the Donkey Kong Country series for the Super Nintendo. I'm sure we will see those eventually, so stay tuned. And thank you again for joining me. It's been a great day. I'm very happy with the accomplishment. I'm glad I could share it with you, and I hope I can see you again sometime soon. Take care of the rest of your day. And yes, I hope to see you again. Have a good one, and goodbye.